All right. As you know, this is JAWS with Gmail, another one of our APH and Home Webinar series. So let's talk about what we're going to be talking about here today. My name is Paul Ferrara. If you have not heard me on one of these before, I work for APH in the communications department. All right, so we'll be talking about JAWS with Gmail. We'll do a wrap up, of course. Before that, we'll do our objectives. And then Mike Wood of Vispero, who we'll introduce a little later on, will be with us. 1.5 hours of CEUs. When appropriate, we'll have questions in the chat. Of course, JAWS will be running, so the chat will be shut off from time to time. And this is not designed for you to follow along at home, just to listen. So if you want to take notes or whatever you want to do, or check on some of the lessons that you'll get later on, that will help you. But this is not set up for you to follow along. All right, our presenter is Elizabeth Whitaker, a technical writer for Vispero. Mike Wood, a strategic accounts manager for the education group, is going to also be with us a little later on. Now, let's look at our objectives today. We have several. The participant will review 2 steps for setting Gmail to basic HTML view. The participant will review at least 4 keystrokes for navigating Gmail with JAWS. The participant will review steps for navigating Gmail settings. The participant will review steps for composing and sending an email. The participant will review keystrokes for navigating the inbox and reading email. The participant will review steps for deleting and archiving messages. So, number of really good things that we're going to be getting into here today. Okay, as you know, Vispero and APH are partners. I wanted to just point that out again. And at this point, I believe this is going to be where Elizabeth takes over and talks about the task for today.
All right, thank you, Paul, and hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm so glad you guys came. And like Paul said, I'm Elizabeth Whitaker. I'm a technical writer for Vispero. I work on our education and training team, our user education team. And we provide a lot of training content and a lot of videos and training content and things like that. So I'm very excited to be sharing this information with you. So let's start by talking about what I'm going to cover today. So I'm going to start by giving you an overview of Gmail and just talk a little bit about using it with JAWS. Then we're going to talk about the basic HTML view versus standard view, what that is and what that means for those of you who are using Gmail with JAWS or who are teaching students. How to access the Gmail settings, how to compose a message, how to search for messages in your inbox, how to read and navigate messages, and then finally how to delete and archive messages. So now we're going to move on to a quick overview of Gmail and JAWS. Gmail currently has over 1 billion users. And you can access Gmail, of course, on your computer, on your mobile device, your phone, your tablet, through the web interface or through a third-party application such as Outlook or your Windows Mail or something like that. Each Gmail account comes with 15 gigabytes of free storage. You can receive emails up to 50 megabytes in size, and that includes attachments. And then you can send messages up to 25 megabytes in size.
Now, pause you a minute, Elizabeth.
Sure.
This is a slide that also has information, Paul. It's slide number 8.
Mm-hmm. That's what we're on.
Nope, we can't see it anymore.
Oh, you need to see this, don't you?
Correct.
Okay.
Sorry about that, Elizabeth.
Oh, no, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay, I'm following the slides along thinking it was showing it. Okay.
Nope, now we can see it. Thank you.
All right, so So yeah, you can send emails up to 25 megabytes in size. Now, if you'd like to send a file larger than 25 megabytes, you can insert it from, you can insert it into the message from Google Drive. We're not going to get into that today, but I just wanted to let you know that that is possible. So, all right, now let's move on to the next topic, which is the difference between HTML, or basic HTML view and standard view. So I'm going to talk about those for just a second. Basic HTML view works with browsers that are not supported by Gmail. So if you're using an older browser, it might default to basic HTML view when you log in. Now some screen reader users will find basic HTML view more accessible, and I'll explain why here in just a second, but we're going to be using that today for demonstration. I will briefly talk about standard view, and I'll show you a little bit about it, but for the purposes of teaching people how to use Gmail, I'll explain why I think basic HTML is a good starting point, and maybe even a preference. So when you're using basic HTML, some of the features such as chat and spell check are not available, but a lot of your features are still available. Standard view is selected by default in a browser that is supported by Gmail. So if you're using, for example, the latest version of Chrome or the new Edge, Microsoft's new Edge Chromium browser, it will go ahead and have the standard view selected by default. Standard view provides access to all the features in Gmail, and you can easily switch from basic HTML to standard view. So we're going to review some steps here for setting Gmail to basic HTML, and I'm going to take over the screen here in just a second and go ahead and show you how to do that. Though basic HTML view doesn't actually provide access to all the Gmail features, some JAWS users, like I said, do prefer to use it instead because you can navigate it like you would any web page using the JAWS virtual PC cursor and your quick navigation keys, and it'll work as expected on a web page. That to me is very important if you're teaching a student, because if someone is ready to learn how to use webmail, they probably have some skills navigating the internet. So if they have web navigation skills, it's a much easier transition than if they were using the standard view. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here.
Okay, so Paul, you need to stop sharing.
I will stop share.
And just so you know, Elizabeth
Okay.
is going to be using JAWS, and so at this time she is going to turn that on, which means I am going to turn off the chat box so that we're not hearing JAWS while she's demonstrating.
Inbox left paren 3 right paren inbox
Okay,
left.
can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
All right.
Inbox.
So I'm here in my inbox.
Hold on, I'm going to pause you one minute. You
Okay.
have a floating reminder about malware bites.
Oh, let me get rid of that.
Tab Zulu. Inbox left meeting controls.
It's not letting you.
Oh,
Okay button.
how fun is that?
You cannot start screen. Okay button.
Oh, wait a minute.
Space. Inbox.
Now you still see my screen because I just got to
Inbox left. Basic
my screen
inbox.
go away. Right.
Okay, Elizabeth.
Okay, so
Inbox.
I'm sharing my screen here. I'm logged into Gmail. So you can get to Gmail two different ways. You can go to mail.google.com and log in, or you can actually just go to gmail.com. That's a really easy thing to remember. So once you're logged into your account, now here, because I am using a browser that supports standard, that's supported by Gmail, standard HTML view is selected. So once you're in your inbox, you can press the letter B, Bravo, which will, that's the quick navigation key in JAWS for navigating by buttons. So I'm going to press B.
Basic HTML view button.
Okay, it said basic HTML view button, and I can press space.
Space. https://
And it acted like it went to another page, but
Gmail link
what
search.
it has done. Now, how do you know that it's switched? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to press B again.
Search mail button.
Of course, it didn't say basic HTML. But another way you can know that it actually switched to basic HTML view is to use the JAWS find command, which is Control F Frank.
Virtual find.
And I'm going to type the word view.
V-I-E-W.
And I'm going to press enter.
Enter. Gmail view :
Now I'm going to down arrow here.
link standard. Vertical bar basic HTML.
Now it said link standard, then it said vertical bar basic HTML. If standard was chosen, there wouldn't be a link to it.
Link learn more.
So that's how I know that it's actually using. Now I'm going to press F3 to see if there's anything else on this page that talks about a view.
Wrapping to top. You are currently viewing Gmail in basic HTML.
And there we go. So we have a message that tells me we're currently viewing it in basic HTML. So now I'm going to press Control Home to go to the top of the page.
Gmail dash in.
Okay, so after you've set basic HTML view, if I were to exit, if I were to Alt F4 and exit and then come back into Gmail, it would be set to standard again. But you can actually set basic HTML as your default view so that you won't need to set it each time you log into that particular account. Now, if you log into a different Gmail account, then it'll be set back to standard. But to do this, I'm going to press Insert F7 to display a list of links on the page. And I'm going to do that now.
Links list dialog. Links list view. Search 1 of 39.
Okay, and I'm going to press S, Sierra.
S. Settings.
I'm going to do it again.
S. Sign out. S. Switch to standard view. S. Set basic HTML as default view.
All right, and then I can press Enter to activate that.
Enter. G alert. Your preferences have been saved. Gmail dash inbox dash Google Chrome.
Okay, so now when I Alt F4 to get out of here and get back in, it will be set to basic HTML. So okay, so just to review, when you're in your inbox, you can press the letter B to go to basic HTML button if you want to set it to basic HTML, and press space to activate that. And then if you want to set it to automatically to stay in that view, even when you exit, you press Insert F7 to bring up a list of links. You can press the letter S until it says set basic HTML to default, and then press Enter. Now you can easily switch back to the standard view if you would like. To do that, if you'd like to use standard, and I'm going to do that here in just a second because I want to talk a little bit about standard view. But I'm going to go ahead and press Insert F7 again to bring up that list of links.
Links list dialog. Links list view.
And I'm going to press S.
S. Settings.
And keep pressing S.
S. Sign out. S. Show search options. S. Starred star. S. Sent mail. S. Spam. S. Standard.
Okay. And I'm going to press Enter.
Enter. Gmail dash inbox dash Google Chrome.
All right. So
you are now connected to Hangouts.
Oh, well, that's good to know. So, okay, so now we're back in standard view, and I just want to talk a little bit about this. You can use standard view, but when you use it kind of like you would Google Docs or any of the other G Suite applications. So you turn off your virtual PC cursor, which I'll do here with insert in the letter Z, Zulu. That's a toggle, so I'll press it.
Table, column 2, row 1. Use virtual PC cursor on.
Oops, it turned it off for me.
Use virtual PC cursor off.
And it may turn it off for you by default. So now what happens is the virtual PC cursor is off, which means that we're no longer navigating like we would a web page. So now we have messages that are displayed in a list, just like files are in Docs. So you can use your up and down arrow keys to navigate.
Unread, Elizabeth Whitaker, FW : left bracket acoustic. Unread, Elizabeth Whitaker, test email, 11:05 a.m.
But where it gets a little bit tricky sometimes and a little more difficult, especially for new users, is when you enter on a message to read it, it doesn't really just pop up in a document. You can tab around, you can turn your virtual PC cursor back on, and then you can read it. But there's still a lot that you have to know to do in order to get that to really gain that access. So that's why I suggest going ahead and, especially for new users, go ahead and use the basic HTML view. Even though you don't have access to things like spell check, my advice there, because of course spell check is a very important feature, would be to maybe type the message in Word, spell check it in Word, and then copy and paste it over into your Gmail to your message body. Where I also think that basic HTML view comes in handy for people is when you're navigating, let's say you need to send a message from a computer that's not your own, or a student perhaps needs to send an assignment, something where the message doesn't necessarily need to be spell checked. You can just type a quick message and attach those files. It just puts it all in one place for you. So I just wanted to go ahead and go over a little bit of those differences. So I'm going to go ahead and switch back. I'm going to turn the virtual PC
Use
cursor
virtual
back
PC
on,
cursor, virtual PC inbox,
and I'm going to switch back
basic
to
HTML view
basic
button,
HTML view here.
space, HTTPS.
So, all right. So before we move on, does anybody have any questions about that?
Okay, so Elizabeth's going to stop sharing her screen. I am
Yes.
going to open up the chat and allow for questions to come in.
Okay.
Again, this is a time that you can ask questions to Elizabeth regarding the function that she just described to you.
Great.
I'll give a minute for everybody to find their button in there. And see, now even me with sight, I now have a different way to navigate. Pretty cool. When you use links list, were you looking for standard and then save as well? JAWS didn't speak when you were hitting the S.
Did you guys not hear it speak?
They might not have.
Okay.
I know sometimes JAWS speaks
out?
fast as we're
Yeah.
as we're covering things, so that
Okay.
could possibly be it.
Okay. I was just making sure it was speaking, that you were hearing
Yes,
it.
yeah,
in
yeah.
general.
No,
okay.
we were hearing
okay,
JAWS.
Good. Okay,
okay.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just going to say that that possibly was it.
Yeah, you should. When I pressed Insert F7 and I was pressing S, I was looking for standard. That is what I was looking for, or set basic HTML, to default, or those links. So the Insert F7 is just a way to get the links all in one list. And then you can press the first letter. We call that first letter navigation. And you can press the first letter of what you're looking for until you reach that particular link that you're looking for.
Okay. Is this similar to using narrator?
I'm not really sure if narrator has those keyboard commands built into it, but with this, as far as screen readers go, there are some similarities.
Okay. Do you use the arrow keys in HTML format?
Yes. You can use the arrow. Now you can use your arrow keys to navigate through that links list, by the way, if you didn't want to use that first letter navigation. Typically we don't, because if there's so many links on a page, you don't want to have to down arrow through all of them. But yes, in basic HTML, you can, and I'll demonstrate this as we read messages here in just a few minutes, you can use your arrow keys. You can use the JAWS quick navigation keys that are used for web navigation. So yes, to answer your question, yes.
Okay. And we get this one every time. What was that command to turn the virtual cursor off?
Sure. That's a toggle command, which means you do the same thing to turn it on and off. And it's insert and the letter Z, Zulu. And if you're using a laptop and you don't have a numpad, if you have JAWS set to laptop keyboard, then the caps lock key serves as your insert.
Okay. And I believe you were trying to explain that HTML is good for a beginning user, correct?
I think it is. I think basic HTML view is great for a beginner user because it's a simpler interface and it places everything kind of in one place right there. I personally prefer it. That's even though I know how to use standard view, a lot of people who use screen readers prefer basic HTML because it's just a cleaner interface.
Okay. And that virtual PC cursor, that can be used with basic view as well, or is it truly
Yes.
just standard view? Yes, both.
Yeah, the virtual PC cursor is really not used much with standard view. Just to kind of give you a little information about the virtual PC cursor, it's the cursor. So when you're reading a document, say you're in Word or any document, any word processor, and you're moving your cursor around, you see that cursor. That's your PC cursor. That's your system cursor. You see that insertion point. Well, on the internet, you don't have that insertion point. So JAWS, Freedom has built into JAWS the virtual PC cursor, which allows you to move around in the same way that you would in a document. So with basic HTML view, you do use the virtual PC cursor.
Another vote for HTML, it looks like, as well in the chat. And I'm going to give mine officially, too. How about that?
Also, when a classroom full of students, if you had more than one student who were all visually impaired or needing this JAWS setup, would you suggest to set that up beforehand or actually them learn how to do so?
That's a great question. I would suggest teaching them how, because if they go to another computer and log in and they haven't set theirs to default to basic HTML view, if they don't know how to do it, they might get a little confused on navigating that interface.
Okay. I'm going to let you go on. We've had a few others, but I think let me let you move on. I think some things will end up being answered.
All right, great. Paul, I'm going to let you go ahead and share that. I'm going to talk for just a minute about accessing settings.
Take screen back.
Sure.
And that link list was enter F7, correct?
Insert F7.
Insert.
Okay.
F7.
Yeah, insert F7.
And Paul's got the next screen up for Access Gmail.
All right, so you can set your preferences in Gmail by accessing the settings. In your inbox, you can go to settings. You can choose from categories such as general, inbox, or labels. There are a lot more categories as well. And each time that you make a change in a category, you'll want to save your settings. So we're going to review some steps now for navigating the settings in Gmail. And I'm going to go ahead and take the screen from here.
Okay, so Paul stopped sharing. Oh, so Elizabeth can share.
Oh, okay.
And at this time, I'm again going to turn off the chat so that we can actually hear JAWS on Elizabeth's screen.
Okay.
Meeting control.
All yours.
All right.
Gmail dash inbox.
All right, we back? Are we good? Can you see it?
Good.
All right, good deal. Okay, so in my inbox here, I'm going to press that Insert F7 key again to access the list of links, and then I'm going to press the letter S as in Sierra to get to the settings. So let's do that now.
Links list dialog. Links list view. Search 1 of 40. S. Settings.
Okay, I'm going to press Enter to activate this link.
Enter. G alert. From Amy Campbell to all panelists.
All right, now when you access settings, they are displayed on a web page, a separate web page here. So I happen to know that this page has headings. JAWS will tell you that, but you can press the letter H to navigate through the headings until you find the settings heading. So I'm going to go ahead and do that.
Wrapping to top. Account options heading. Gmail by Google heading. Folders heading level 2. Inbox left paren 3. Contacts heading level 3 link. Labels heading level 2. Settings heading level 2.
There we go. Wasn't quite sure. Okay, so it said settings heading level 2, and that's good. So now underneath this, we have some corresponding links to settings pages, different ones where we can change the preferences here. So I'm going to down arrow to move through these and just kind of show you what they are.
List of 5 items. General.
So we have the general category, and under that we have
Link accounts.
accounts.
Link labels. Link filters. Link forwarding and pop/IMAP. List end. Summary : general settings.
So you can just keep down arrowing to navigate here.
Table with 2 setting choices. Language :
and you can change things here.
Gmail display language : combo box English left paren us right paren. Maximum page size :
You can set
left paren conversations per page right paren.
how many conversations per page. So you can just keep going down here, and in these combo boxes you can change certain things like language and page size.
Signature :
and you could set your email signature.
Left paren appended at the end of all outgoing messages right paren. No signature radio button not checked. To signature text.
And if I check that radio button, I could add signature text.
Choices: escape personal level indicators.
So let's go back up to, I'm going to press Shift H to go back up to that heading, because that's the command that'll bring me back up to the previous heading.
Settings heading level 2.
And I'm going to down arrow.
List of general. Link accounts. Link labels. Link filters.
So if I wanted to,
Link forwarding and pop/IMAP.
if I wanted to change, let's see,
Link labels.
we'll go with labels. I could press enter.
Enter. Gmail-settings-Google Chrome. Gmail-settings.
And that would take me to a page where now I can navigate with, I'm going to
List
use the
end.
letter, well, I'm going to go to the top of the page with Control Home.
Gmail-settings.
I like to do that by default anyway, just because it gives you a point of reference, a place to start. So I'll press H.
Account options heading level 2. Gmail by Google heading folders heading level 2. Inbox left paren 3 right paren all contacts heading level 3. Labels heading level 2.
Now that I'm on the labels heading, I can down arrow here.
Link edit labels. Blank. Heading level 2 settings. List of 5. Link general.
And I could edit the labels if I wanted to. So that's just an idea of how to navigate through settings. We didn't make any changes. Now, if I had made changes, I could save them. I would want to save them. So you can get to the save or cancel buttons by pressing the letter B, because that is the JAWS navigation quick key for navigating through buttons on a web page. So I'm going to press B.
Create button. Wrapping to top. Search mail. Search the web. Create button. Wrapping to top. Visited link Google Home.
Okay, well.
Link Gmail.
Okay, I was wrong about that. I'm sorry. So I could make changes here. I'm going to go back a page by pressing Alt left arrow.
Back. Gmail-settings. Link.
And
link filters.
Now we'll find the save or cancel buttons.
Cancel button. Save changes button. Wrapping to top. Alert. Search the web button. Cancel
So
button.
if I had made changes on that previous page, I would have made those changes and then I would have come back to this page and I could save or cancel.
Save changes. Cancel
I'm going to go
button.
ahead and cancel. I'm going to press space on cancel.
Space. https://mail.google.com/.
So now we're back on the inbox page.
Blank. Gmail-inbox.
And I just did Control Home to go to the top. So I didn't really go through the settings because there's so many different things that are in the settings that you can change. But just to know that you can go to settings, you can navigate it like you would other web pages as long as you're in basic HTML. And you can change things like the language and the size of the conversations, how many are on a page. You can add a signature. You can keep going down through those different categories and then you can save the settings or cancel too if you didn't want to save anything. So, yeah, just to recap, you're going to press Insert F7 for your list of links. You're going to press S for settings and you're going to press Enter. And then you can move around the page with keyboard commands like H for heading or use your up and down arrows to read that information. So does anybody have questions? I know that was kind of a fast, very quick summary of settings, but I just wanted to show you how to get there.
You ready for me to open the chat?
Yes.
Okay, stop sharing or it'll be noisy. Okay, I have opened up the chat.
Meeting controls. Mute. Currently all.
Okay, there we go. Sorry about that.
Does the way you navigate settings change if you are set to basic or standard view?
It can, yes. You
Okay.
can still navigate it like a web page, but sometimes the ways that how you find certain things is a little bit different.
Okay. Is space the keystroke for cancel?
No, actually, that's a good question though. Space and enter are kind of used, you can kind of use either one to select a button or a link or a different element on a web page. So if you're on any kind of web page to include Gmail and you're on a button and you want to activate that button, whether it's cancel or save or whatever it may be, you can press space or enter.
Okay. Any settings you suggest for ease of use on the screen reader?
No, I would say if you're in basic HTML, then it's pretty straightforward. Now, if you're in standard view, then you want to go, once you go to settings, there's a link for all settings. And if you go to all settings, you want to make sure that keyboard commands is checked, because with standard view, there are certain keyboard commands you can use. And if you have to enable them. in order for them to work. So if you're using standard view, that would be the only thing I would suggest. But for basic HTML, no.
This is a visual question and we'll see if between the two of us we can answer.
Sure.
My settings in Gmail look very different from this. Are you using a more basic version of Gmail? So one of the things is I know that the skins of Gmail can change. So that could be one of the reasons you're seeing something different. I'm not sure why they might see settings different. Do you know why they might see settings different?
Maybe because basic HTML, I think they look different in basic HTML.
Okay. Okay.
I can switch to standard and we can go to settings and find out.
Haha.
Here in just a minute, we'll do that.
Okay.
We'll do that.
Where are the settings values stored? Are they stored on your computer or in the cloud with your account?
On the cloud with your account.
Okay. You've kind of hit all of those.
Yeah. You want me to let me share or those all
Yep,
the questions?
that was it, and I'll
Okay.
close the chat for you.
I was going to say I'll go ahead
Yep.
and share, and then we'll try the settings. Let me switch over, see if I can answer that question.
Okay. And we'll give it a shot and see if the settings change as well.
You can share now.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome.
Task switching. Zoom. Meeting controls. Gmail dash
Let me
inbox
get back over here. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and
Gmail. Links listed. dialog S. Setting S. Sign S. Switched S. Set base S. Show cert S. Starts S. Sent S. Spam S. Standard. Enter. Main region. Primary. Virtual.
Okay. I'm going to go to settings. I'm
now
just going to do a find for settings here.
Virtual S. E. T. T. I. G. S. Enter. Table. Column. Escape. Inbox. Basic HD. Visited link. Skip to
Or maybe I'm
content.
not.
No, it just bounced you around your screen.
Yeah.
List dialog. Link S. Start S. Snooze S. Sent S. Skip to S. Start S. Snooze. Escape.
wow.
Escape. Virtual PC. Basic HD. Visited link. Skip to content. Virtual S. E. T. Enter. Settings button.
Here we go. Oh, okay, it's a button. I didn't know that. So now that I know it's a button, I know I could have pressed the letter B. I'm gonna go
Space.
there.
Banner region. Settings button. Quick.
And
Link to quick settings. Close button.
we have quick settings.
Quick link details. Quick close. See all settings button.
And it says see all settings button. So that's already different. We know that's already different. So I'm going to press space here.
Space. See all settings button. Inbox.
So do these look different?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So that may be why I think, let me turn off virtual
Use
PC
virtual
cursor.
PC cursor off.
Yeah.
Labels tab. Inbox tab.
See, now I can tab, these are tabs, and I can use the tab key, no pun intended here, I can use the tab key to move through them.
Accounts and import tab. Filters and blocked addresses tab. Forwarding in pop/imap. Add-ons tab. Chat and meet tab.
And I can press enter
Advanced tab.
if I
Enter.
wanted to access them. But it's still not as straightforward. I know the basic HTML is a little simpler interface.
PC cursor.
So,
Use virtual PC cursor. Virtual settings.
So I'm going to go ahead and
Basic
switch
HTML view
back
space.
to basic HTML
HTTPS.
view.
You are currently using Gmail-inbox.
Okay. So yes, I think that would you say, Leanne, that
Yes.
that would be why? Okay. All right.
There's many more visual cues going on in
Yes.
the other version.
Right. Right. Which, as I said again, for an advanced user, for someone maybe who's used the G Suite applications, that would be okay if they want to use the standard view. But for someone who's beginning, it's just a whole lot easier to use the basic HTML view, I think personally. That's just my personal opinion. So, okay, I'm going to hand it back over to you, Paul,
Zoom.
so that we can
Zoom.
move on to the next slide here.
And while he's doing that, I will open the chat up for any questions that might come in, and we can get to those after your next section.
Okay. Great.
Okay, compose with JAWS.
All right. Okay, so now we're going to talk about composing a new message. You can do that from the Gmail inbox using your keyboard, which is great. You can press tab to navigate through the compose page once you're on it. And of course, we'll review this and the steps of how to do this. You can quickly compose a message from within your inbox with an easy to use keyboard command. So now I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and show you how to do that.
Meeting control. Gmail dash inbox dash Gmail.
All right, we should be up and going here.
Yep.
So I'm going to press the keyboard command Alt and C as in Charlie. I'm going to press those together.
Alt C. https://mail.google.com.
Now it's just going to keep reading that email address or I mean that web address, not email address, web address if I press Control to make it stop. But let me explain what happened here. So I pressed Alt and the letter C as in Charlie, and the compose dialog came up. Now you heard a little pop noise, which is actually forms mode turning on. So for those of you who may not know what forms mode is, it is a feature in JAWS that allows you to type information into various form fields and move to different form controls. So by default, when you're on a web page, those quick navigation keys exist so that we can quickly navigate through the page. So you can press H for headings like I've been doing, or press the letter B, or press any of those, the T for table. But when you're in a box, when you're in an edit box, you want to be able to type information. So JAWS has this feature forms mode so that when it's activated, it tells JAWS, hey, I'm going to type now. I'm not going to use these quick navigation keys. I actually want to type. So you'll hear a little pop when forms mode turns on, and you'll hear a pop when it turns off. So now I'm assuming that it put me in the to field, but we're going to verify that. So again, Alt C Charlie for compose. And now we know we're in an edit field. So I'm going to press Insert Tab, which is a JAWS command. Typically, as a general rule, anything that's insert and another key or series of keys is a JAWS command. And then, for example, like some of your Control and Alt and things like that are Windows commands as a general rule. So this is a JAWS specific command that'll read it's going to read the field that we're in here.
Column 201, 2:edit.
Okay, so it said 2:edit. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to send myself an email.
If I
can spell my email address correctly. Now I'm going to do that Insert Tab again. It's going to read what's in this field.
Column 201, 2:edit, contains text.
Or maybe not.
Whitaker at Vispero.com.
Okay, and those buzzing noises you heard is it thinks that I don't know how to spell. It doesn't recognize that, so it thinks it's misspelling. So now I can tab just like I would on another web page to tab through filling out a form. You can tab through these different fields here.
CC:"edit.
So there's the CC field,
BCC:"edit. Subject:"edit.
I'm just going to type demo.
DEMO.
Tab again.
Gmail-compose mail-Google Chrome. Attach file button.
Okay, now because it encountered a button, it went ahead and turned off forms mode, but we're on the attach file button, which I could press space on if I wanted to attach a file, and that would open the dialog where you can choose a file from your computer. So I'm going to go ahead and press tab again.
Attach more files button.
That I could use, so if I had attached a file, but I wanted to attach, let's say 4 files to this message, I could use this one to attach the 3 remaining files.
Message body edit.
Okay, and here's the message body. I'm going to go ahead and type
space period. Enter.
I can read it just like I would any other document or any other text.
I am sending this message to demonstrate how Gmail works with JAWS.
Okay, now I can tab again.
Send button.
And here's the send button. We're going to activate that in a second, but I'm going to go ahead and tab again. I want to show you.
Save draft button.
We could save it as a draft if you didn't want to send it right now.
Discard button.
We could get rid of it altogether.
Details link.
Okay, we don't want that. So I'm going to shift tab, which will move me up again.
Discard button.
Through these different buttons.
Save draft button. Send button.
And I'm going to press space.
Space. Alert. Your message has been sent.
Okay.
Gmail-inbox-Google Chrome.
And it sent my message.
Link created.
And there's also
your message has been sent.
A message here, on this, it let me know that it sent the message here. So you can read that on the inbox page. It notifies you that the message has been sent.
Link composed.
So I'm going to go ahead and press Control Home to go back to the top. And that is just a quick way to compose a message. So once again, you just press Alt C Charlie. That brings up the compose dialog. You type in who you want to send it to. You can tab the different fields, fill them in, and then press space on the send button.
Task switching.
So I'm going to
Meeting
go
control.
ahead and stop my screen share so we can open up the chat and see if anybody has any
All.
questions.
Okay, so the chat is back open. Did I ask you in HTML view, can you use the Google key commands or do you have to use JAWS commands?
You use regular Windows commands. Like, for example, if you're, I don't know if this answers your question, but if you're in standard view, one of the Google commands is you just press the letter C to compose a message. But here you just press Alt-C, and that in basic HTML view, that is a Google command. You just press Alt-C to compose a message.
Okay. A person said a suggested email address popped up visually. Is there a way to read those suggested texts if there was an E and you had 4 choices of people with the first letter E in their email address?
There is. You can arrow up or down. I can't remember how that pops up. Let me try it again and I'll tell you. Let's see. Because, all right, so I'm sure there is. That is a really good question because I'm back in it right now and I am not
Well,
getting
we'll let
that.
you take that one away and you get to
Yeah.
play with that in your head
I'll play
for a
with
while.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it okay to use enter instead of space to send the message?
Yes.
Okay. One person who possibly is a newer user of JAWS, what does that shift tab mean again?
Okay. So, shift, okay. So when you're on a web page and you press tab, it moves you forward through the controls, which means it will move you forward through links and buttons and the different elements on a web page. And if you press shift tab, that moves you backward.
Okay. That definitely is it. If you're using Firefox with Gmail with JAWS, and my student's basic HTML screen looks different, is that because of your use of Chrome right now?
Is this a situation, I'm thinking that you've had a student use basic HTML and that looks different than my basic HTML? Is that?
I don't know. We will let
okay.
Sharon answer that further down.
Because that may be the case. That may be the case.
Okay.
So to answer your question about the suggestions popping up, I did not find them readily. What I mean by that is I might have to do a little digging, but no, they didn't just pop up
for you easily.
For me, easily.
And Sharon said, yes, you understood her question correctly.
Okay. Yeah, I would think maybe it's being displayed in Firefox differently. It might also depend on what version you're using. It may display differently in different browsers. That happens oftentimes.
After you compose who you want to send it to, how did you navigate or how do you navigate to the other parts of that email?
Oh, okay. So I press the tab key to move to like the CC, the BCC, the subject field, the attach button, and the message. So I use the tab key. You can also use your arrow keys. The reason I use the tab key is because doing that, forms mode will remain on as I tab through those fields.
Okay. Will you be or are you able today to demonstrate creating a folder and moving a received email into that folder?
That's not something that I had on the list, but I can try to do that. If we have time to do that today. I don't know if we'll have time to get to it. If not, if you would like to send me an email, send it to training@vispero.com. That's training at Victor, India, Sierra, Papa, Echo, Romeo, Oscar. Send it to training@vispero.com and I will send you those instructions and we can figure out if you'd like to see it demonstrated. That would be fine. Because, yeah, that is possible. I just don't know if we'll get time to do it today.
Okay. When using standard view, is there a way to move to easily enable shortcuts in the settings?
Yes and no. Well, I'll say yes and no. Yes, if you find the settings button and then you go to the all settings button, then I did a search because I worked with it a little bit last night to make sure the keyboard commands feature was on. You can use the JAWS find command, Control F as in Frank, and then type in keyboard, and it will bring you to the first occurrence of that word on the page, which in this case was turn on keyboard shortcuts, and that was checked. So there is an easy way to do it, but it just really depends on how much experience on the web, using the web that the person has.
Okay. I think we're good to go on.
Okay, I'm going to turn it over to you, Paul, then.
And it's up. He has a search for Gmail messages with JAWS.
Okay, so we're going to talk about searching for Gmail messages using JAWS. So if you want to search for messages, you can do that using what they call search operators, such as by sender, by recipient, by keywords that are in the subject or the message line. And you can even combine the search operators. So if you wanted to search by sender and also by keywords that are in the subject so that it narrows it down even more, you can do that. So we actually have a video for this demonstration that we're going to go ahead and play for you now.
Paul, at the moment, we don't see anything.
Started screen.
Okay,
Hold up.
now we're
Audio
seeing.
now unmute.
I had to change the sound setting so I can.
Gotcha.
PowerPoint slideshow dash AP.
Now I'll hit the
Slide
button,
12.
and as soon as I hit it, the video should start.
Okay.
Slide 13.
Your Gmail inbox with JAWS. Our focus is in a demo Gmail inbox. I was already logged into this account via Chrome, so to move straight to the inbox, I visited mail.google.com, and it brought me to this page. I'm also in basic HTML view. This is a demo address, like I mentioned, with several random emails. For this demo, we'll search this inbox and find the emails we're looking for based on keyword. I'll press the QuickNav shortcut E, echo.
Search edit.
I know I was forwarded several copies of the email newsletter Top Tech Tidbits. I'm going to see if I can find them. I'll type in the search edit box Top Tech.
T-O-P space T-E-C-H.
And press enter.
Enter. Gmail dash search results for Top Tech 7.
Since I know every email in the Gmail inbox is preceded by a checkbox, I'll move to the first search result by pressing X. X is the QuickNav key that will jump you through checkboxes on a web page.
Justin Federal checkbox not checked. Link inbox FW Top Tech Tidbits for Thursday, November 28th.
After I move to the email with X, I can then press down arrow to review further information like sender, subject, and date and time it was sent. This has been a quick demo of how to search your Gmail inbox with JAWS.
Okay, so yeah, just to recap a little bit here, you can search by sender, you can search by topic, you can search by recipient, and then as Rachel said in that video, the emails are displayed and you can navigate through them using the letter X because that is the JAWS navigation quick key for navigating through checkboxes on any web page. So since we know that command, we can press the letter X and it will move through those search results. Okay, so do we have any questions about that?
Paul, you'll have to stop sharing so I can open the chat up again.
Hold on.
Okay, so I have opened up the chat again to see if we have any other questions. I'll give it a minute. Sometimes it takes a minute to compose them.
Right, yeah. You guys are asking great questions today. This is awesome.
So how did you get to the search box?
Okay, so when you're on the inbox page, you can press the letter E because that is the, E as in echo, that is the letter that, or I'm sorry, that is the key navigation quick key that moves you through edit fields on the page. So anything that's a certain like box where you can type information, we call those edit fields. So it's the only one on that page for me anyway when I'm in basic HTML view. So if I press the letter E, I can press enter and turn on, or space, either one, and turn on forms mode and then start typing what I want to search for.
Okay. Once you get to the X to select the email, did you use the up, or did you you used the down arrow to open the email? That's a question.
That's a good question. So when you get to the X, when you hear the sender, then you down arrow and you'll hear the subject, which is the link. It's a link. And when you hear the subject of the email that you want to read, you press enter and that email opens on a separate page, which we're going to talk about here in just a minute, which is great. That's a good question to segue into.
Okay. Someone did ask if we can provide a link that lists the quick navigation keys, and then I can ask Mike to do that when he gets on, unless you know it fast.
I know you can go to the, well, let's see. I tell you what, I will. Yes, okay. You can go to freedomscientific.com/training, and there you'll see our web training module or web training lessons called Surfs Up. That's training for learning how to use the internet, and there is a lot of information in there about quick navigation keys and how to use them.
And you said
freedomscientific.com/training.
I missed the /training.
Yeah.
Okay. When you get to the search edit box, how do you turn forms mode on?
I can either press enter or space. You can do either one to turn forms mode on. And then after you type what you want to search for, you press enter, and that activates the search and turns forms mode off.
Okay. One person said that when they use enter, sometimes that doesn't always work.
In some situations it won't. In that case, you might, in this case especially, you can tab and it says search mail button, and then you could press space or enter on that, and that hopefully would work. That should work.
Okay, and I'll just say that Mike has hopped on and he's adding those links.
Oh, great. Yes.
Mike, don't forget to add all panelists and all attendees. Right now you just sent it to me alone. Okay, Elizabeth, it's all yours. I'm not seeing any other questions come in.
All right, I'm going to turn it back over to Paul here to share his screen, and then we're going to talk about reading email.
Okay, that should have worked.
Nope.
Uh-oh.
Now it's coming on.
I know how that is.
There we go. Yep. Read Gmail messages.
Okay. So you can read Gmail messages using a combination of JAWS quick navigation keys, which we've been talking about, you know, your letter H and T and all those letters that we've been talking about for navigating web pages. And you can also use some Windows navigation keys, and I'm going to demonstrate that for you now as well. Messages open on a new page. And once you've read a message, you can go back a page. You can return to your inbox by pressing Alt and left arrow. So now I'm going to share several keystrokes with you here for navigating and reading messages with JAWS. So I'm going to go ahead and share.
Okay, so Paul will stop sharing and you will share. And I will turn the chat off. Again, you can kind of jot your questions down and be ready for when she is back with an open chat.
Okay, sorry, it helps to be in the right right window here. So
we all have those hiccups.
I sure did. It said Zoom, but it wasn't the right
button.
window. Okay, are we?
Yep,
Zoom.
you're good.
Gmail
Okay, good deal.
search edit Gmail search mail button.
All right, so the messages are displayed in a table. So because I know that, if I didn't know that, I could use my arrow keys and explore the page. And that's what you might want to have new students do, if they're, especially if they're not used to navigating web pages. But because you know they're in a table, you can press the letter T to move to the table.
Table with 4 columns and 4 rows. Column 1, row 1. Checkbox not checked.
Okay, it just said checkbox not checked, but I'm going to show you what now we can arrow.
Elizabeth Whitaker checkbox not checked.
Now what I did there is, because it didn't really tell me what that checkbox was associated with, I pressed down arrow and then up arrow again so it would read that again. So what it's reading to me is who the message is from. I'm going to keep going down.
Elizabeth Whitaker.
I read, again, my name.
Link test email dash this is a test email.
Okay, so it said link test email. So that tells me it's a link, and that tells me it's the subject.
11:05 a.m.
That's when I sent it.
Elizabeth Whitaker checkbox not checked.
And we're back to the next message. So one interesting thing, one great way to navigate through messages when you're in basic HTML is by using the letter X to navigate by the checkboxes. We were just talking about that for search. But because the senders have the checkboxes here, you can either check those boxes if those exist so that you can check those boxes to move messages, delete messages, or do certain things. However, you can also press the letter X to navigate through checkboxes on a page, which works well for navigating through messages. So I'm going to demonstrate that.
Elizabeth Whitaker checkbox not checked. Wrapping to top. Elizabeth Whitaker checkbox not checked. Elizabeth Whitaker checkbox not checked.
Now this is just a demo account, so I only have a few messages. But let's say you just wanted to browse your messages and you were looking for a message from a specific person. When you reach that email that you want to read,
Elizabeth wrapping to top.
Go to the first
Elizabeth
one here.
Whitaker checkbox not checked.
So let's just say I browse. I thought, okay, I want to read this email from this sender. I will down arrow to the link.
Elizabeth Whitaker link test email dash this is a test email.
And I will press enter on that link to open the message, and it's going to open in a new page here.
Enter. https://mail.google.com/mail/u.
I'll press control to make it be quiet.
Link create.
So I'm going to press control home to go to the top of the page because that's just kind of a good starting point.
Gmail-test email.
Now, notice this time it didn't say Gmail inbox, it said Gmail-test email. So that indicates to me that I'm on the page with the email that has the subject test email. So now I'm going to press the letter H to move to the heading, because I happen to know, and I know this because I've used Gmail, that's why. But if you don't know that, again, you can use your arrow keys and navigate the page. But you can press the letter H to move through heading. So let's see if we can find that the heading with that subject.
Account options heading level 2. Gmail by Google heading level 1. Link graph folders heading level 2. Inbox left per and 2 right per and contacts heading level 3. Labels heading level 2. Test email heading level 2.
And there we go. So now I can press my down arrow key and I'm going to hear all kinds of information about this message and read the message. But let's see what we get.
Link inbox. Link graphic add star graphic.
I could star if I wanted to come back to that later.
Heading level 3. Elizabeth Whitaker. Leslie Whitaker at Vispero.com. Greater Wednesday, July 15th, 2020 at 11:05 a.m. _strainers2 at gmail.com _liststrainers2 at gmail.com. Greater.
And if now I know because I created this account, but if I didn't know what Jaws said, I can use control right arrow to read by word, control left arrow to go back, and then just right and left arrow to navigate by character. And those are just general reading commands for reading anything.
Link reply Alt+R.
There's a reply option.
Vertical bar.
And notice it said Alt+R. So just like we pressed Alt+C to compose, we could press Alt+R to reply.
Link reply to all Alt+A.
And Alt+, it said but Alt+A is reply all.
Vertical bar.
Or you could press space on those options.
Link forward Alt+F.
There's Alt+F as in Frank for forward.
Vertical link print.
You could print.
Vertical bar. Link delete.
Delete.
Vertical link show original.
Show original, and that just gives you more information, even more information about the message and when it was sent and some things like that, some more details.
This is a test email. Quick reply.
Okay, so it read, this is a test email. That was the message. So it read the message, and I'm just pressing down arrows what I'm doing. So now we have a neat option here that's quick reply. So if I wanted to choose reply, I could, but if I just wanted to just type out a really quick reply to this, I can
Elizabeth Whitaker Leslie Whitaker at Vispero.com. Greater.
I can use this.
More reply options button.
Now we have a more reply options, and if I go there, that will just bring up the dialogue that we had when we composed a message. So we would have the subject field, the CC field, the BCC field. But here for the quick reply, we just have a message field.
Edit.
And I could just type a quick message here.
Space. TACAL period.
And I can tab
Send button.
or I could down arrow to send, and I can press enter.
Space. Gmail-test email. Your Gmail-test email.
And so it brings me back to, and I just went to the top, I pressed Control Home. It brings me back to the message that I was just reading. And it also tells you, I cut it off, but it also tells, I didn't mean to, but it also tells you that your message has been sent.
Account Gmail folders heading
And I
level.
can just use H to navigate back down here.
Inbox contacts labels test email heading level 2. Link inbox.
To where I was before to read the message. So when I'm finished reading a message, whether I reply to it or not, I can press Alt left arrow to go back to my inbox.
Back. Gmail-test email. Gmail-test email. Gmail-test.
I think.
Gmail-test back. Gmail-inbox.
Okay.
Elizabeth. Gmail-inbox.
I had to do it twice, probably because I use that quick reply feature. So just to recap, you can press the letter T to get to the table with the messages. You can down arrow through them, or you can press the letter X to move through the senders. When you get to a message sent from somebody that you want to read, you down arrow to the subject, which is a link, and you press enter. That opens the message on a new page. And then you can press the letter H until you reach the subject heading, and then down arrow to read that message. And then if I just use that quick reply feature there after the message just to show you how to quickly reply to a message. When you're finished reading the message, you press Alt left arrow to go back to your inbox. So I'm going
Meeting
to
controls. Mute.
Stop my screen share and let's see if we have any questions.
All.
Okay, the chat is open. Any questions? We'll give them a minute to type them all in.
Sure.
Could you repeat the commands to reply and some of those commands that you read out for that top bar of the email?
Sure. Alt R is reply. Alt A is reply to all. Alt F is forward. And then compose once again was Alt C.
I'll wait a minute, make sure there's no one else that had a question coming in. Is Alt D Delta delete email?
Yes, I do believe it is. Let me see. Let me make sure that before I tell you, because let me see if it does.
In fact, you have a perfect email to delete, don't you? Because you don't need it in your inbox. I'm also impressed by your inbox, by the way, because it's empty.
Oh, that's only because it's a test account. I promise.
So Alt D as in Delta is not correct.
Because Alt D, and this is what I thought, Alt D actually brings you to your address bar on your web browser. I mean, on your web browser. Okay. So when you're in a message, you can do one of two things to delete. You can either, and we're going to get to that here in a second, you can either press the letter B from within a message.
Bravo.
Bravo. B Bravo takes you through the buttons on the page, and delete is a button on the page. Or that checkbox I keep talking about that you can get to with the letter X, you can check that box. And once it's checked, you can also tab to the delete button and press it there from the inbox as well.
Okay. When you have opened the message, could you press N November to read it?
When you have it opened?
That's what they said.
No.
Opened the message, could you press N November to read it?
If you haven't opened it, you cannot. If you press the letter N, if you've opened it, you can press N. Sometimes it might take you to that information. I did that last night when I went to the subject of an email and I pressed N just to see if it would bring me straight to that message. That's a great question, but it doesn't always work that way. It brings you to the first block of text, which may or may not be that message, the text in that message.
Okay. I'm not seeing any others come in.
Okay. All right, I'm going to hand it back over to Paul then. We're going to get to our last task of the day, which is actually, we have another video, but this one's on deleting and archiving messages. It's just a brief video.
Have started screen. Task switching. PowerPoint slideshow. Slide 14.
And we see
Slide
good
15.
stuff.
Okay, so deleted messages will remain in your deleted folders or deleted folder for 30 days. And you can select the checkboxes, like I just said, of the messages that you want to delete. You can press the space bar to do that, and then activate the delete button to delete them. Now, archive messages allows you to clean up your inbox without deleting the messages. So archived messages can be found in the all mail folder, and the archived messages are returned to your inbox when someone replies to your email or that email. But you can also mute a message instead if you want to keep it out of your inbox. And then you can just search for those muted conversations like we did when searching for emails. So let's go ahead and watch the video.
Computer doubling as a meeting controls. Audio now unmuted.
We want to make sure you're hearing my sound.
PowerPoint slideshow
Yes,
dash
We are
APHG.
definitely hearing it.
Yes.
Okay, good. Now we'll go to the video.
Okay.
Slide 16.
Archive Gmail messages. When you delete a message, it stays in the trash folder for 30 days. After that time, messages are permanently deleted from your account and cannot be recovered. If you want to remove a message from your inbox, you can perform different actions. For example, you could archive the message, you could delete a single message, or delete multiple messages, and finally, you can also empty the trash. To delete a single message, check the checkbox to the left of the message, and then choose the delete button. I'll demonstrate that now. Focus is at the top of the page.
Gmail-inbox.
I'm going to press T to move to the table where the messages are listed on the page.
Table with 4 columns and 10 rows. Column 1, row 1. Checkbox not checked.
So the first thing I hear in column 1 is a checkbox. I'll use table navigation by pressing Insert Spacebar and the letter T.
Table layer.
And I'll move to the right.
Namekeep. Column 2.
That's Namecheap.
Link don't miss out. Dash transfer weekend soon. Dash make life easier by putting all your domains with Namekeep. Column 3.
So let's just say I wanted to delete that one. I'll press Shift-Tab to move back to the checkbox.
Column 1, row 1. Namekeep. Checkbox not checked. Checked.
And I'll press the letter B, Bravo, to find the delete button.
Archive button. Report spam button. Delete button.
There it is, and I'll press Spacebar.
The conversation has been moved to the trash. Learn more. Gmail-inbox page has 7 headings and 49 links.
To delete multiple messages, simply check the boxes to the left of the messages and perform the same action as I just did. Choose the delete button. Archiving messages. If you want to clean up your inbox without deleting your emails, you can archive or mute them. Your emails are moved to a label called All Mail. When you archive a message, the message will come back to your inbox when someone replies to it. When you mute a message, any replies stay out of your inbox. You can search for the conversation if you want to find it again. To archive a message or messages, check the checkbox to the left of any messages you want to archive, and then choose the Archive button. I'll press T to move back to the table on the page.
Table with 4 columns and 10 rows. Column 1, row 1. Checkbox not checked.
And I'll move to the right to the column where the subject is.
Elizabeth Whitaker left parent via. Link produce sample worksheet dash request for access dash.
And I'll press Control-Alt-Down arrow to move down this column.
Link has Gutenberg ruined WordPress for you dash get the latest on WordPress. TLD trans.
Let's say I want to archive this message. I'll press Shift-Tab until I find the checkbox to the left of it.
Column 1, row 2. Inspire by Namekeep. Checkbox not checked.
I'll press the spacebar to check it.
Checked.
And I'll press the letter B, Bravo, until I find the Archive button.
Archive button.
And press spacebar.
The conversation has been archived. Learn more. Page has 7 headings and 49 links.
Okay, so that's just a little bit about how to archive and delete messages. Now, Dan was showing you a couple of things there. When you're navigating tables, I was using my arrow keys. You can use different keyboard commands to navigate tables, but JAWS also has a feature that allows you to use what we call a layered command. If you press Insert Space and the letter T, that turns on table mode, and it lets you navigate using just your right and left arrow keys, as opposed to having to press having to use, your control keys with your arrow keys and your Windows keys. And so anyway, that's what he was talking about. I just wanted to explain that there in case somebody had a question about why he had used the insert space and press T for table. So now let's see, does anybody have any questions about archiving and deleting messages?
So Paul, stop sharing your screen and I will turn
Meeting controls.
it on. Okay, the chat is back on. I'll just give a minute, let everybody write in. I will tell you, Elizabeth, I've now learned things in Gmail I didn't know. Maybe you should do a Gmail training just on Gmail.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, just to let you guys know, that link we gave you earlier to the freedomscientific.com/training, and I suggested going to Surf's Up. You'll learn all kinds of things there about navigating web pages, which will be right in line with all of this, like navigating tables, using your Alt Windows down arrow, up arrow, right and left, using that table layer command, using all of the quick navigation commands we've been talking about. So it's all there in Surf's Up.
And those videos like the one you just showed us, those are there as well, correct?
Yes, you will find links to our YouTube training channel. You can link to it from there, or you can go to YouTube and type in Freedom Scientific Training, or you can type in youtube.com/Freedom Scientific Training and go directly to our training channel. And those are just short how-to videos. They're taken from our other webinars and other trainings, but we put short videos on YouTube so people could search for specific tasks.
Okay. Can you tell us how to read attachments? So you get an email and it has an attachment in there.
So when you're down arrowing through the details of the email, if there's an attachment, it'll say attachment, and there will be a link to that file. And when you press enter on it, you'll get the message that you usually get about, do you want to open or save? And you can choose open or save, and then it'll be on your computer.
Okay. Are you able to show us how to navigate folders, such as you accidentally moved a item into trash and you need to pull it back out?
Okay.
Or a sent email and you want to use that to do a follow-up email?
Okay. Sure. I think I can. Let me.
Yep, I'll let you do that.
Share. Okay,
Meeting control.
I think I'm sharing again.
Gmail
Share.
dash
You
inbox.
are, and I've closed the chat for a minute so we can hear what you're doing.
All right, so I'm going to press H until I get to the folders heading. Well, first of all, let me check a message here. Let's find a message.
Combo box.
Oops,
More.
Sorry, I pressed letter C. I need to press X.
Elizabeth, me left paren 2 right paren checkbox not checked.
So I'm going to press.
It says an X-ray?
X is an X-ray, yes.
Okay.
So I'm going to press space to check this box.
Space. Checked.
And then, let me see
Virtual
if I can do this
find.
quickly.
MOV. Enter. Screen escape.
Okay.
Table. Archive button. Report spam. Delete button. Go button. Wrapping to top. Search the archive button. Report spam.
Okay, well, first of all, hang on. Let me do this first. Let's find the folders. So let's find the folders heading. I'm going to press H.
Account options heading. Gmail by Google. Folders heading level 2.
So now under this heading, we have all the folders here.
Heading level 3 link inbox left paren 2 right paren alt plus I. Link start star. Link sent mail. Link drafts. Link all mail. Link spam. Link trash. Heading level 3 link contacts.
So we can go to any of these folders by pressing enter.
Link spam. Link all mail. Link trash.
So let's go to trash. I'll press enter here.
Enter.
Let's go to trash.
https://mail.google.com/mail/u/.
Well, let's see if there's anything here in trash.
Blank.
You have
Now,
lots in trash.
Oh yeah, I do, don't I? I sure do.
Google box not checked.
So here's a Google email. I'm just going to press space on this.
Google. Link security. Link your account. July 4th. Jim Sullivan. Virtual find. MOV. Enter. Move to inbox button.
And there's a move to inbox button. So I could press
Space.
space.
Alert. The conversation has been moved to the inbox.
Now I'm going to go back to the inbox.
Account options.
Pressing
Gmail by
H
Google.
as in hotel.
Folders heading level 2.
Go to folders.
Heading level 3 link inbox left paren 3 right paren alt plus I.
Oh yeah, okay, so there's another keyboard command for you. Alt-I. I could just press Alt-I.
Alt I. Gmail dash inbox.
And it just takes me right to the inbox.
Heading level 2.
So now we have 3 messages here.
Elizabeth, me left paren
We
2.
go to the top
G
with Control Home. Now I'm going to press the letter T, get
Table
the
with
table,
four-
and
table-
I'm going to press X as an X-ray.
Elizabeth, me left paren 2. Google checkbox not checked. Elizabeth with wrapping to top. Google check. Elizabeth Whitaker
So we have
checkbox.
that message, so we've moved it. So yeah, you can check a message, you can move it.
12/4 Elizabeth Whitaker checkbox not space. Elizabeth Whitaker checkbox checked.
And usually those are buttons, so if we,
Archive button. Report spam button. Delete button. Go button. Combo box more actions dot
so
dot
we have
dot.
a more actions combo box here. So I'm going to press space to activate that.
Space. More. Mark as read.
We can mark it as read,
Mark as unread.
unread.
Add star.
We
Remove
can
star.
star it.
Mute. Add mark as more actions dot dot dot.
And I think we have
Space.
even more actions here.
Mark
No.
as read.
So I'm not
More
going to do any of
escape.
those
Go
things.
button.
But
Link refresh. 1 dash search accurately with wrapping to top. Search the web
so
button.
yeah, you can access those folders and move it around. I was trying to find a move link.
Archive
Actually,
button. Report spam button. Delete button. Go button. Archive button. Report spam
But I'm
button.
not
Virtual
finding
find.
that.
Jam. OVE. Enter. Screen. Escape. Archive. Report spam button.
So I tell you what, if you send me
It
an
could
email,
possibly be in the more actions button, which is what you
That's-
keep getting with that M.
yeah, and I didn't find it there. It's like,
Delete. Go button. Wrapping to top. Search. Archive. Report.
See.
Delete button. Go
I
button.
mean, I don't see any.
I don't see it there.
Marcus.
I thought there was one though because I've done it before.
More actions dot dot. Marcus
Well,
read.
and that is definitely a Gmail problem, not
Yeah.
a JAWS one.
No, that's not
Because I don't see it anywhere.
not a JAWS problem. But I tell you what, if you want to know how to do that, let me check into that, and I just send me an email to training@vispero.com, and because I don't want to say it's not possible, there may be a way to do it. Without, yeah, I do use Gmail quite a bit, and I've done it before, but they've changed, some of the interface has changed, so it may just be that
Mute.
that
Virtual
might be in
keys.
a different place,
G-
or maybe, surely you can move messages, I would think, in basic HTML view, but send me an email and I'll verify that.
Okay, we can ask more questions if you turn off the
Yes.
Reading controls.
I don't understand this next question, but maybe you do. How do you mute messages?
Okay, so when you mute a message, of course, it removes it. Well, it doesn't remove it, but it archives it, but it doesn't go back to your inbox when somebody replies to it. So if you check the box, like I had just checked just a minute ago, that checkbox of the sender, and then you go to that more actions combo box, and you press enter on that combo box, you can down arrow to mute, and then you tab to go, and it will actually mute that message or that conversation.
Okay, chat is open. One person actually said the move button won't show up unless you have other folders created besides the standard folder. And of course, you
Okay.
had a test account, so you had not made other folders at all.
Right. Okay, that's a good thing to know.
Okay. Can you sort or filter the messages to only see attachments or unread messages, for example?
You can. When you do the search, searching for messages, you can filter it according to those options.
Okay. And can you repeat that keystroke command to search through your emails?
Sure. When you're in the inbox, press the letter E as in echo to reach the search edit box. Press the space or enter key, you can use either one, to turn on forms mode and type in what you want to search for, and then you can press enter. And here, and I see it says create a filter, so you can filter.
And the keyboard command to switch from basic to HTML.
From
What
basic
was that?
HTML or to basic HTML?
To switch to basic
to.
HTML.
Okay, so when you're in your inbox, when you've logged in, just press the letter B, bravo, to get to the basic HTML button and press the space bar, and that will switch it to basic HTML. And then if you want to set it to always, for that account, always default to basic HTML, press Insert F7 to bring up the list of links, press the letter S, Sierra, to go to Settings, I'm sorry, press the letter S, Sierra, until you get to set basic HTML as default and press enter.
Okay. Did you know of any other shortcuts to move you through folders besides the Alt-I for inbox?
Let's see, I think you can, let me, I don't, it's not giving me those. I
Okay.
see all mail and spam, but inbox did say
Alt-I for one.
Alt-I, yeah.
Okay.
And I think that's because Alt and some of these other keyboard commands do other things on the web page,
Okay.
like Alt-D moves you to your address bar.
Okay. We are getting close to the top of the hour. Were we able to cover everything you wanted to cover, Elizabeth?
Yes.
Just wanted to make sure before we did that. Okay. Will it automatically fill out an email if you have that person in your contacts?
It has for me, yes, it should, but that might be one of those things. I'm going to work with that and see, because it looks like a few things have changed recently. Maybe either that, or maybe I just have something set different with this new account. So it should, but it may not.
When you're in the list, the links list, can you type more of the word?
Let's see if you can do it very quickly. You can. If you do it quickly, like if I press SE, it said security.
So if you're fast.
You can if you're fast.
Okay. And do you know? Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, I'll just say otherwise you can't do that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. Do you know if any of your training videos are in Spanish?
They are not, but we can definitely look into that.
Okay.
I will definitely talk to somebody about that.
I'm looking to see if we've missed any others that are coming in. There we go. I am not seeing any others. So this is your last opportunity before we close to get any other questions up regarding JAWS and Gmail. And this has been fabulous. Gmail, I know, is one of those systems used by many school districts.
Yes.
And so we're trying to assist with our prep, and this was one of them. So I definitely thank you, Elizabeth. This has been a wonderful one, and you've got lots of thank yous coming in the chat. So just know that they are really finding it helpful. Mike, did you want to say anything before we let everyone go?
Great presentation. I just wanted to share, there's a bunch of different specials we have going on right now because of the national conferences. So ACB was just recent. Currently right now, NFB is going on. So what I'll do is I'll share here in the link, rather than show slides, I'll just share the link to our events page. So there's a lot of different webinars, but there's also great specials on hardware and software on there. So definitely check that out. It's vispero.com/events/NFB 2020. And I just put that in the chat.
And that is free, so there is no cost for attending that. So you can hop on in and visit.
Yeah, we've got a happy hour tonight. If you go on there from 4 to 5, which will have answer questions for all different JAWS, whatever you want to ask questions about or just kind of have a good time. So join on in. So thanks.
And so I just want to say thank you so much, Elizabeth. This has been fabulous. And we can't wait to have you back again. For those of you that are working on our JAWS series, I think we've planned Elizabeth out through the rest of all the way through December, and we've had another request for an additional training. So it looks like we're going to head into January.
Nice.
So keep paying attention. We have Elizabeth kind of set to help you out with a variety of JAWS techniques. So again, thank you so much.
And thank you for having me here today. Thanks everyone for coming. We definitely appreciate you taking time out of your day to be here. Once again, our training page is freedomscientific.com/training. And if you have any questions or feedback, or if there's something that you want to know how to do that I didn't get to today, send me an email. Send us an email at training@vispero.com. That's training@Victor India Sierra Papa Echo Romeo Oscar.com.